Kuzampo, a very warm welcome to Bhutan This Week, our weekly news magazine program. My name is Pupkan. Our top stories this week. Foreign Ministry frames a standard operating procedure to prevent exploitation and harassment of Bhutanese working abroad. Bhutan on the road to eliminating cervical cancer. And after waiting for over 5 years, hazelnut growers in Mongar finally experiencing an improved yield. News in detail. To prevent exploitation and harassment of Bhutanese working abroad, the Foreign Ministry has framed a standard operating procedure. This is following the recent rescue of 2 girls who went to Iraq through private individuals claiming to be employment agents.
At the Meet the Press, Foreign Minister Dr. Tandin Doji said he, along with the Police, Department of Law and Order, and National Commission for Women and Children, framed the SOP in the last 2 weeks. He said exploitation and harassment of Bhutanese women working overseas is a result of lack of proper rules and regulations in place.
In the SOP, we deliberated on how to rescue such victims from foreign countries. Secondly, through the Kuwait Ambassador and Delhi Embassy, we have written to all countries where Bhutanese girls go to work to give us the permission to process their visa. Here on, we will never have such issues. The current situation is due to lack of proper regulations and communication between Bhutan and countries concerned.
The minister added the government is trying to create awareness on countries that have proper labor laws and good working conditions. It is encouraging Bhutanese wishing to go abroad and work to opt for such countries. However, if Bhutanese choose otherwise, even after the government's effort, then there's nothing much they can do.
There are countries with good labor rules and regulations. It is always comfortable to work with countries with which we share a good bilateral relation. We can immediately call when we have issues and respond accordingly. It is difficult to approach the country we are currently having issue with. Forget about phone calls and writing to them. Even if we go there personally to find our fellow Bhutanese, it would be difficult. It is not that the government is not helping, but there is no space left for the government to intervene.
Meanwhile, the 2 rescued women had gone to Iraq to work through private individuals claiming to be employment agents. The private individuals have been identified and investigation is ongoing. It is estimated that there are around 400 Bhutanese working in Iraq. Kiladem for BBS News.
Of late, a number of horrifying and organized crimes have been reported in Paro district. In 2018, Paro recorded the 4th highest crimes after Thimphu, Wandifada and Chuka. Leaving behind the conventional approach, Paro police have now moved to a new kind of policing approach called the intelligence-led policing.
As per the crime data from 2009 to 2018, about 40% of the total crime was reported in Wancha Gyeog, while the 9 other Gyeogs constitute the remaining 60%. The frequent crimes reported are larceny, burglary, assault and battery.
We see more of property crimes such as larceny and burglary over the recent past, and these property crimes are mostly committed in Paro town, Gepte, Nyemezampa, Bongde and Ochu areas.
Since the initiation of the intelligence-led policing or ILP approach by the police in Thimphu from March, police say crime has been reduced by close to 500 cases. Looking at the success in Thimphu, police in Paro also welcomed this new form of policing a month ago. ILP involves informed decision-making leading to targeted deployment of police assets, increased presence in high-crime areas, monitoring of potential criminals, and persuasion of vulnerable population.
crime hotspots will be identified, and accordingly, we are going to initiate crime prevention activities such as patrolling and awareness campaigns in these areas. ILP is also going to address our main constraint of manpower shortage, as ILP will require us to concentrate mainly on hotspots areas rather than following the conventional pattern of randomly detailing patrolling team to different areas without specific targets.
ILP in Paro will be reviewed after 3 months, and if it proves successful, it will be replicated in Wangdi and Pinsling. For Sangye in Paro, Yishe Galton, BBS News.
Now, towards eliminating cervical cancer in the country, the Health Ministry launched the first phase of comprehensive package of cervical cancer screening camp. Its implementation will kickstart from the 3 zonkags of Punakha, Pumta and Mongar this month.
Cervical cancer is the most common cancer among Bhutanese women. In 2018 alone, 1/5% of all new cancer cases among women were cervical cancer. The disease is also among the #1 killer in the country, with about 36 women dying of cervical cancer every year.
The initiative for cervical cancer screening started 30 to 40 years back, but we couldn't do as much as we wanted to, and therefore the achievement wasn't much. Women come for checkup and are asked to wait for a month to collect their report. In the meantime, they forget, while some do not know where to get the report from. If you visit Thimphu Hospital, there are thousands of reports that have not been collected. Even if we want to call, we are not sure who the person is. So that is why we are starting to go around with these zonkags first.
Elimination of cervical cancer was first tabled by the Health Minister during the 144th World Health Organization Executive Board meeting earlier this year. Following this, Bhutan became the first country in the region to launch a comprehensive strategy to eliminate cervical cancer. Meanwhile, in the last 3 years, 60.4% of Bhutanese women between the age of 25 and 65 years have undergone pap smear test. Pap smear test is a procedure to test cervical cancer in women. Samtan Dolkar, BBS News.
In what could be another milestone in the history of the nation's hydropower sector, Kurichu Hydropower Project Authority in Mongar successfully launched a more digitized control and automation system. The upgraded system is expected to provide safer, more efficient and productive services in the power plant.
The success was marked with the commissioning of the power plant's first unit operated through the new system. For the rest 3 units, works will be complete by April next year. The Bhutan Automation and Engineering Limited executed the works for the system, including its designing, manufacturing, installation and commissioning. It had been ongoing since September last year.
Kurichu being the second oldest plant, the existing automation system at the plant had become old and obsolete. So that in terms of reliability and also getting spare parts and support services, the existing automation system had those problems. So in order to overcome those problems, because the life of automation systems are usually 10 to 15 years, so they have to be replaced within this time cycle.
Punazangshu Hydropower Project 2 and Basuchu Hydropower Project in Wangdiphodrang will also undergo a similar system upgrade.
Switching to digital automation has many benefits, and firstly I would say safety. It increases the safety of industrial processes. Secondly, it makes your system and processes very efficient, not only in terms of manpower reduction, but also in terms of energy and other resources which are involved in the particular process or the concerned process.
He added, using local expertise for upgrading such a system denotes a significant progress of Bhutan's hydropower industry.
Since September 2018, when this contract was awarded to us, the all Bhutanese team in the company, we have been working very hard, and all those efforts put in today, it's bearing fruit. So it's quite encouraging us looking at from the perspective of achieving the national vision of attaining self-sufficiency through creation of a knowledge-based economy.
The Druk Green Power Corporation invested 157 million yutam for upgrading the control and automation system of Kurichu Hydropower Project. Situated in Gelbojing, Kurichu Hydropower Project was formally commissioned in 2006. It has a capacity to produce 60 megawatt of electricity. Sonam Singh, BBS News, Mongar.
Despite being part of Pemagasal-Nganglam Secondary Highway, the stretch between Kotakpa-Mandari has remained without blacktopping. Having waited for quite long enough, local people are now calling for action from the government side.
Cleared more than a decade ago, Kotakpa-Mandari Farm Road fell within the secondary highway after the highway opened to traffic in 2015. Today, people of Khar village are affected the most by the poor road condition. They say with no blacktopping and many vehicles using the road, they have to deal with dust pollution every day.
Even the vegetables we grow are covered in dust. It is no use washing clothes as it becomes dirty as soon as we dry it. The dust from the road enters our houses, making it difficult to maintain hygiene. If we don't sprinkle water time to time, then we will not be able to eat the vegetables from our garden.
The dust from the road is a nuisance. If we don't clean regularly, the dust would pile as thick as an inch.
We face a lot of problems due to the dust. It directly enters our shop and settles on our goods. Due to this, it is very difficult to maintain hygiene.
It has been years since the road was first cleared. Its condition is worsening by the year. The dust pollution creates a lot of problem for the people, animal and crops here.
The inconvenience the bare road causes is no different for the commuters.
Being a highway, a lot of heavy vehicles use the road. When thick clouds of dust are blown, visibility becomes poor. There are chances of accidents. At times, the bottom of our vehicles get hit, which leads to oil leaks. The tires also get damaged.
The matter was discussed at the recent Dzongkhag Tsogdu as well. The House decided to write to the Works and Human Settlement Ministry requesting for blacktopping of Kotakpa-Mandari Farm Road.
There are more than 3 public buses using the road. Some commuters even post on social media regarding the road's poor condition. The posts ask many questions as to who is responsible. We once heard of a plan to blacktop the road.
People of 5 Chiogs have to deal with dust pollution from the road. Most officials use the Gyeok Center Road, but for those of us using the stretch in question, we know how the situation is. Those working in the capital may not know of our plight. Therefore, it would benefit our people if we submit this issue as an agenda to be discussed at the Parliament.
Officials from the Department of Roads Division in Pema Ghasil said the office has already submitted cost estimation for the blacktopping works to its parent ministry. Although it is not sure when the works will commence, they are hopeful of its approval at the earliest. Meanwhile, parts of Pema Ghasil-Nganglam secondary highway from Pema Ghasil side remain blacktopped only because it fell under the Geok Center roads. For Tinle Doji in Pema Ghasil, Sringdanta for BBS News.
Complaints about cracks on the houses in Kingaraptin in Tongsa are increasing. The affected locals are blaming the Mangdechu hydropower plant's tunnel, which runs beneath the village, for the damages. They are requesting that appropriate interventions are made at the earliest, as the problem poses threat to human lives and properties.
Locals say the cracks are widening by the day, leaving them more worried than ever. As of now, 13 homes have suffered major cracks on the walls of their houses and their lands.
It
looks as if the land is sinking. In fact, some areas have already. The cracks run through the walls and pillars of the houses.
Cracks of varying sizes on the walls of homes, roads and footpaths appeared sometime in early November last year. It was formally reported to the Geok administration on 29 November.
The cracks are also seen on the roads. Even if we shift to another place, it would still be worrying. We shifted from our two-story house after more cracks developed.
If the concerned authorities could maintain the affected homes with concrete walls and iron rod pillars, then we could sleep peacefully. Otherwise, it is worrying because we have our families living together. I'm concerned over the cracks, which are increasing daily.
According to the Mangdechu Hydropower Plant Authority, experts' reports stated that the crack in Kingaraptin developed due to mass movement of earth and localized cracks in the area. The conditions of headrest tunnel is intact with discharge within tolerable slippages now, and it has no direct impact or bearing on the Nandri and Kingaraptin houses. Various groups from the MHPA, Dzongkhag and Geok administrations, along with independent group of experts from the Economic Affairs Ministry, also carried out a series of checks and inspections. The reports indicated and suggested the MHPA to carry out immediate rectification of the Nandri and households in Kingaraptin for immediate safety. The project has already approved the budget for executing the works on the cracks developed to the infrastructures and the area immediately. The overall situation will also be continuously monitored side by side. Passa, BBS News, Tronsa.
The wait is finally over. Hazelnut growers in Mongar are now experiencing better yield. According to the farmers, in the last 2 years, the production increased by over 4 times.
After waiting for more than 5 years, hazelnut trees in Mongar have started to give better fruiting. And this time, for many, it has been a bumper harvest. People of 16 Geoks in the district are into growing the nut.
Last year, I harvested only half a kilogram of hazelnuts, but this time I collected 40 kilograms.
Until 2017, I saw only 1 or 2 nuts growing, and that too dropped before maturing. But last year, I harvested 9 kilograms of hazelnut. A kilogram of it fetched me 13 yultrum. This year, along with the price, the harvest increased to 36 kilograms.
According to the Mountain Hazelnuts Venture Private Limited, the overall production in the country has increased. This year, the company collected over 24 metric tons of hazelnut from 18 districts. This better harvest is attributed to increase in mature trees and the large-scale grafting program carried out earlier this year.
We are more interested in hazelnut cultivation, as the company told us that they would increase the price once they get a good return from their investment.
We have to spend 500 to 600 Yultrum as taxi fare when we go to sell vegetables in Monga town. So whatever price we are fetching now, we feel it is reasonable. After all, they come to our doorstep to buy the nuts.
Many farmers took up mass hazelnut cultivation following the establishment of Mountain Hazelnuts Venture Private Limited in 2009. And to this day, most of them have been expressing resentment on a poor outcome even after 7 to 8 years of plantation. Currently, there are over 10,000 households and community groups engaged in hazelnut cultivation. This is Sonam Singh for BBS News, Mongar.
Selling across the border amid fluctuating price and uncertain market should no longer concern the ginger growing farmers of Samrup Jonkar. They can now sell their harvest within the country with the coming up of a ginger processing factory, Bhutan Green Product, in the district. Initiated by a private individual, it was inaugurated recently.
First of its kind in Bhutan, the factory will ensure that farmers fetch a good price without any fluctuation. Today, for instance, the market price for a kilogram of ginger is 30 to 35 ngitum. Just 6 months ago, it was 90 ngitum per kilogram. With the help of the district agriculture sector, Bhutan Green Product has already formed 4 ginger groups in Samrup Jonkar with more than 500 members.
Their past experiences and their, the prices, the past prices, they have come up with a recommendation, and they were saying, it will be from the farmers. They will buy at 40 ngitum per kg, and group they are selling me at 45. At the moment, they are selling me at 45 ngitum per kg.
The factory will start operating fully from next month. Besides meeting the local market's demand, Bhutan Green Product is also looking at exporting its products.
My target market is identified. One is, Germany, one is France, and one is India. Because India being close to Bhutan, I thought first I will start with India and then slowly enter into European market, because I have to be prepared, because they need a lot of certification processes like organic certification, global gap certification, and other quality certification processes. So this will take some time. So in the meantime, I'm thinking that I will first try with Indian main buyers.
Ginger is one of the main cash crops for many farmers in Samrup Jonkar. Last year, the district produced more than 1,000 metric tons of ginger. For Kilo Anshu in Samrup Jonkar, Samtin Dolkar, BBS News.
Many scientific research have proven that nutritional strategies for athletes enhance exercise and training adaptations, leading to improved health and performance. But for the Bhutanese athletes, practicing such is challenging in absence of proper and adequate nutrition pattern and directives. This was highlighted at the 3-day seminar on athletes and nutrition held in Thimphu recently.
At the seminar, it was revealed that most athletes, like any other non-athlete person, consumed regular food such as rice.
field guide coach training
In the field, we are guided by the coach. The coach just trains us and helps improve our skills. They do not teach us what food and nutrients to take. The BOC just supports us with the diet allowances when we have international competitions.
We are given diet allowance only when there is a competition coming up. After that, we have to manage everything ourselves. There are no proper directives regarding our diet.
For example, for the recent South Asian Games, the Bhutan Olympic Committee gave 7,500 ngitum as monthly diet allowance to each participating athlete for 5 months. Among the 15 federations, it is only the Boxing Federation that provides monthly diet allowances to its athletes regularly.
It makes no sense to train hard without also taking nutrition very seriously. They maybe can't train harder than athletes in other countries, but if they know more about nutrition, they can gain an advantage when they go to international competition. So what we try to do in these 3 days is to convince them that nutrition is important and to try to help them to find sources of information that will let them improve their performance.
Besides a proper guideline, sporting in Bhutan is also challenged with lack of professional nutritionists.
The athletes, they themselves was very adamant, and they said they wanted a seminar on nutrition because they also felt that their performance and how well they do all depended on this. And I think it's also right time that BOC and also federations, if they feel that this is very important, that they now try and recruit, if not train, a sport nutritionist.
Over 70 athletes from various sports disciplines attended the seminar. Sampan Dolkar, PBS News.
That's all we have for you for this week. Thank you for watching.